Greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking. I am Dale Barzy, and we are at the beginning of 2026. So, Happy New Year to everyone. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world and at any stage in their nursing journey. Today, I have the very great pleasure of welcoming Vanessa Chambers out of New York.
Hello.
Vanessa is a multi-state, and by multi, I mean multi-states licensed RN
Yes.
with over 15 years experience. She
Yeah.
is an entrepreneur. Her company is called Care for Lives. And she has, taken care of a broad range of people. She's taken care of people at at-risk communities, people incarcerated, people on home arrest. She is also she's big on post-op recovery, IV therapy, and she's a private care specialist. She's a concierge nurse as well.
Yeah.
Vanessa, so much you have done. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I'm honored. It's really, really cool being
It
here.
is my pleasure. It is my pleasure. So tell me first of all, though, why are you a nurse? What brought you to nursing?
To be very, very blunt and honest, I never wanted to be a nurse. I fought it tooth and nail. I did everything in my power to not go into medicine because I come from a Jamaican background and the big stars that you see to be as a nurse, a doctor, engineer, or lawyer. If you're none of those, they don't know what you are. So I fought it tooth and nail. And it just happened to be that when I went to school, it didn't work out. I tried all the other things I was thinking of. It didn't work out. And I believe it was a Bloomberg program. And it was funded. It was like in the second year when I found out about it. And I was working in Macy's, I think, at the time. I was young. And a friend of mine went, and it was an LPN program on Roosevelt Island. Next thing you know, I just said, well, I might as well try it out. Why not? Let's see what happens. And I fell in love with it. Who knew? Something I was running away from to the nail happened to be the best thing that ever happened to me, to be very honest. So it just happened. It literally just happened. That's all.
Life is like that sometimes, you know? I mean, I'm listening to you talk about how you didn't want to do it and you actually ran away from it. And you know what came to mind?
Mhm.
Fortunate enough, I don't think I've actually paid attention to that story for years and years and years, but I said, did not know. What's this guy who didn't want to go to Nineveh in the Bible? Jonah.
Jonah, yeah.
That's what came to me. I couldn't even remember the guy's name properly, but I said, oh my goodness, she's Jonah.
It's a
So didn't run away from it though, not wanting to do it. And
yeah.
then it sucked you in. But what challenged you then?
You mean before I went in or when I went in?
Wherever you wanted. What was the biggest challenge for you?
I
Anywhere.
was I was really, really worried about memory. Like I
Mm,
don't have the grandest memory in the whole world. So I was just worried that I wouldn't know as much as I need to know. And then I realized that it was just because I'm anal. I just it was like I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not trying to be like, an orthodontist. Like we're trying to be nurses. So this is doable. I can do this. And that was my greatest hurdle was memory. But I don't know when it's still muscle, so you just train it. And I
yeah.
learned to train it more. And that's how come I was able to progress from LPN to RN to BSN. So, it worked out really, really well. And plus I scored high on my test. That was the funniest part. Like I had to take a test to get in, and here I'm worried about memory, and I got like a 90 odd, almost 100%. So I was like, I guess I got nothing to worry about then.
It was
So,
just another way it pulled you in.
totally, totally. First, my family was ecstatic. I was like, yeah, I'm sure y'all were. Sure you were. Yeah.
So, when you graduated, I mean, you have worked in so many different areas. What was your first job?
Oh gosh, when we graduated, I was LPN, mind you. When we graduated already ascertain that all 40 of us, I think it was 40 classes, 40 people in the class, 40 or 80, I always get it mixed up. And we were guaranteed a contract position with Roosevelt Hospital at that time, right? Then I call it a depression. It was a recession. All our contracts were void. We all were jobless. A lot of us went back to our regular jobs. I had no job. I was selling tickets with an LPN license. It made no sense. I did not get a job till 8 to 9 months later, and it ended up being at the same place where my mother and my godmother worked. So, they loved me and they brought me on full time, and it was a nursing home slash rehab center slash the craziest place I've ever been in the South Bronx. Hard labor, crazy intense floors, and it wasn't sometimes the nicest people. It was definitely eat your young kind of folks. Um, some people were really nice, but most of it was eat your young. You're on your own. It was rough. It was rough. And I was like, this is nursing? Like that was my first kip into it. I was just like, this is nursing? I had nothing else to judge it by. So I was it was hard. I did it for like 6 years. 6, 7 years, I think it was. That was rough. And but it definitely made me the person I am today. Because I got my RN there. So it definitely made me the person I am today. Stronger, quicker, notice any mistakes quicker, um, and blunt. I've learned to become extremely blunt. I don't know any other way. But that was my first position.
So really, as you go along the way, you've just been baptized by fire over and over again.
That's a good way to put it. You know.
What what do you think you'd like to see after 15 years and in so many different roles? What do you think you'd like to see change about nursing?
After I went through many, 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 many jobs, many different type of jobs, not because of anything more than either I would just go there and I just didn't like it. But in predominantly all of them, I find that there's a disconnect between the nurses and management. And then when I went into management, I saw where the disconnect could be, where it doesn't have to be, but it is there. But it is there. And I believe there was more synergy, more like more coming together. There would be more understanding and it would be less, listen, the pay is the pay. It would be nice if it would be higher if for a lot of people out there. But the disconnect where it feels like management is not necessarily listening to the nurses on the ground, and the nurses on the ground are not understanding management. The disconnect is there, and people just don't care. So you'll have the nurses coming in, taking days off. I remember I was taking a lot of time off. The lack of respect. It was, I feel like that needs to change. That's the culture. That's the culture that needs to change. That's why I left it. I went to so many different industries and it was the same thing except for the law firm. I was in a law firm and that was not like that at all. It was a lot of respect between the management portion or the lawyers, I guess you could say, and the nurses. So I found that to be the only synergy. And I was just like, wow, you know, there needs to be changes in that. Maybe you wouldn't have the strike that we're doing right now in New York,
I see.
pay and disconnect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would you say though, you were talking about, management not listening to nurses, the nurses not understanding management role.
Yeah.
And many often managers don't understand their own role, but that's a different conversation. But what I've found of what I've noticed is that very often those nurse managers are really just the meat between two pieces of bread.
Mm-hmm.
They are being pulled this way by their by the people they manage, by the nurses, and they're being pulled this way, particularly if you're talking about areas like long-term care,
Hmm.
or even anywhere else,
Yeah.
where we're now gone so conglomerate and you're answerable to so many different people who are not even clinical,
Hmm.
and you're pulled in these different directions. And it seems to me that, the managers. I have a quick question. You mentioned working for a law firm. What were you doing there?
Oh gosh, that was so random. It was I had just gotten my RN not too long ago and I really wanted to do something different. And so I got the opportunity. That was a long story, but the opportunity was that I was able to work with Whites in Luxembourg, and I kind of was. It was supposed to be temporary, and I worked underneath a lawyer. I cannot remember his name to this day. But it was like chart reviews and talking with the patients and getting more information from them. And they just finished winning the case, but there is the after part of the case where folks can still get more compensation. But it was
Mm,
so hard talking to them because the drug itself caused them to have cancer. So a lot of them won't live long enough to see the money. So it was so hard to talk to each one because they were constantly asking the same question, like, when do you think it's gonna go through? When do you think the money's gonna go through? I wanted to go to my family, and da da da. And it was just like, oh, like it was hard. It was hard talking to them. It was harder than if, doing what I was doing because to be honest, it's in the courts. So it could take a while. It could take years even because it was it's a large case because Weiss and Luxembourg, they deal with larger cases. They take years to go through. So that was interesting, but the lawyers and everybody around me were just so kind. I actually truly enjoyed it. I had to leave prematurely, but I truly enjoyed it.
good, good, good,
Yeah.
good, 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 good. Another place where we function and function well.
Oh my God, yes.
You're a concierge nurse.
Yeah.
Tell us what you mean by that.
So when I say concierge nurse, when I think concierge nurse, I think specialized care. I find concierge different from home care because or standard agency home care in that you're going by specific guidelines set out by that company, of course, going by your licensure. But with concierge, it's a more specialized, personalized, high touch feel. And every person that goes into it, I feel it's truly an art because you are not going into the home specifically. I'm going there. He has diabetes. I gotta teach him medication. It's more like I need to really express to them the importance of everything they need now that they are newly diagnosed with diabetes, and I need to make sure their home is situated to what they need and whatever else they may need other than this education for diabetes. It is extremely specialized. You are focused on a person. You have to remember, in my opinion, you have to remember that they are also paying out of pocket, and so they expect a higher caliber of knowledge, of care, of diligence. You're on top of it and you have an outcome for them. You're not just talking to talk, you're leading them to a solution because that's why they spending that on you, or else you're just another agency personnel coming in to check over them.
Mhm.
So that's why I find with concierge is very specialized. Yeah.
So you have this company,
Yeah.
Care for Life.
Mhm.
What's it Care for Lives? Care for
Care for
Lives.
lives. Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
Care for Lives. First of all, congrats on your company.
Thank you.
Secondly, what was your entrepreneurial journey like from nurse to entrepreneur, CEO, founder?
It was it was easy. I'm not gonna lie. It was easy up until I opened it in 2020, technically, and it was my full name. So Careful is my DBA. And I didn't do anything really with it more so than work for other people who also had their own private concierge business, utilizing my business underneath them as a contractor. And I did that for a number of years along with other jobs and whatnot. And I traveled, I had fun. I didn't do much. I took in a few patients here and there. It was nothing for me, right? Until I wanted to expand and do more with it. And so when we launched in 2024, I spent all 2024 just working towards that. And now this 2025, now on my own, 150% on my own. No other separate jobs, just totally on whatever I bring in. It's been rough. It's hard. It's a hard journey. It's a hard lesson to learn that it is slow paced. I thought I needed so many nurses and I need to have all of them. And then I don't realize you need to make the relationships. It takes time. It's inconsistencies and you will lose a lot financially if you go in too hard too fast. So I learned things the hard way, the hardest, most expensive way you could learn. And I pray when things go crazy, because that's what happens. You're going on this slow journey and then it goes bang, it goes crazy. Um, that I can still bring in an enormous amount of people. But I believe I can because I know a lot of nurses. I know a lot of folks that still do trust what I do and how I would always take care of them. It's just been a very inconsistency and but if you look at my list of people I've gotten to know over the past year, it's insane. It's insane. I went through like this a small amount to like, I'm over 1,000 people that I've networked with alone. And it's just like what you didn't realize how much of a people person type thing situation is. It's not just patients. I gotta make relationships with everybody else and then keep it up. You know, it's a doozy. It's such a
Yeah,
doozy.
yeah. I said you were a multi-state licensed nurse, and I'm talking at least 10 states.
It is. I think it is 10 states now. We're in the middle of Ohio.
Mhm.
Middle of Ohio. And
So
so
did this come out of your travel experience, or did this come out of just your desire to practice everywhere?
at first it came from other nursing companies who have patients out of state. And then I myself, when I made relationships with certain people out of state, I'd find myself going out of state on my own, underneath my own banner.
Yeah.
So I wanted to I love travel. I am obsessed with traveling. So having multi-state license is nothing to me because I've traveled so many countries by
Mhm.
myself. So me
Mhm.
taking a flight over to Florida is just like, well, going over, knocking at your door in Connecticut. Like it's just easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Like it's nothing to me. So having these licenses, I want more. I'm like, well, what if somebody from Texas calls me? Like it's just so easy to keep the relationships,
Yeah.
and wanting to just travel. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to go out of country because the next bet I want to go is Canada. I want to go to Dubai. I want my clients. I want them to know that you need me, I'm ready to go. And the more nurses we bring on, the more I will implore that, you know what, time to get some more licenses. Because what if somebody wants to take you to Florida? What if someone wants you in California? We don't want to just stay in New York. We want to go everywhere.
Yep. I love that view. I love that view because I really think that nursing really should not have those borders, but that's just me.
Yeah,
So you led me though into the other question that I want to ask
sure.
is what is your big vision for Care for Lives?
My vision is that we are in multiple states and that we're able to travel to multiple countries. And that's what makes us so different from an agency is that we can move around much more easily. As long as we work with our licenseship and we do right by it, and we do right by the standards of every state and every country, there's no reason why we can't do that. We have concierge doctors, they are blowing up. Like this is not back when I got my license about 16 years ago. You know what I mean? Like concierge physicians wasn't in abundance, it was very low key. They were there, but they were very low key. And you just have mostly like private doctors. As time goes on, there's a lot less private doctors. There's more private concierge doctors. Two different things you start to realize when you're in this game, and it just becomes a bit, it's just sky's the limit. There's just so much more you can do, and I feel like that's what we want to do. We want to be accessible. We don't want the hub to be just here. I don't have a brick and mortar. You know what I mean? Like I want us to be able to go to different states very easily, jump there whenever you need us, different countries whenever you need us, and be accessible to everyone. It's just all about visibility. That's all. We want to be visible to everyone. We want, whenever anyone thinks of post-op and post-op orthopedic surgery, they think of us as being something that they would need to progress further in their recovery and progress faster at that too. So
I
that's
love
my
it.
hmm
I love it. I love it. I love it.
It's not
Should I
easy,
say
man. It's
it again?
hard.
I love
It's hard.
it. I'm looking at your bio, Vanessa,
Yeah.
and you know, um, you have worked again. I said that you've worked in different places, but also with so many different populations. You have gone from incarcerated, um, marginalized people to some of the wealthiest people around. And I don't know, I think maybe I want to ask, um, did that require, what did that require from you in terms of approach to these people?
When I went into the LPN situation, when I went into that first facility, I was what's the word? Blue-eyed and like doe-eyed. Like I was like, wow, I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to be here. In 8 hours, I could do 24 hours. And when you go into the atmosphere that I went into, where it was just rough, and they were just like, "Don't worry, you'll learn," and you change considerably, and when I started while I was in that facility, I was then introduced to concierge while I was in that facility. So now I'm taking care of, um, people that have literally hurt people in their past and come to that nursing home and now with dementia or whatever, and they're still violent. To working with folks who are wealthy and live in mansions. Guess what? It was almost similar because it was almost similar. The only difference was money. You know what I mean? Like there was people that were rude, nasty,
Mhm,
mean, violent,
mhm,
and were
mhm,
wealthy, and in the
mhm,
same caveat, and poor.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I wasn't seeing much difference. Now, maybe if I had just only stuck to one thing, maybe I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? But because I saw both, I was just like, well, shucks, I can stay this way anyway. But once I started hardening too much, when I started noticing I was getting angry too often, that's when I left. I think that's a big thing nurses need to realize when they feel like they're getting to a point where they're hardening and it's changing their personality almost 100%, you need to walk away. So I knew I needed to walk away. I walked away and I moved on. Sometimes that's what you have to do for your own self. And so I feel like all that I've learned, all that I've built, all that I am has really instilled because of the type of folks that I was around. And the foundation of knowledge, honestly, from Roosevelt Island was,
Mm,
I think, also what made me a great nurse from jump. Because
mm,
Roosevelt Island, we had our studies done in Roosevelt Hospital. So we were already around nurses, around doctors, around patients from early on. So the teachings was completely different than other people, than other folks. We were totally
mhm,
hands-on.
mhm,
I was ready to be hands-on. I was already really good with IVs before I even became an RN. You know
mhm.
what I mean? So sorry, long rant, but yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
That's just what I want. But you are leading me now to the next question that I want to ask because you talked about walking away when you notice a change in your own personality. And so I want to know, what do you do? First of all, two-part question. What does self-care mean to you? And what do you do to care for you?
To be honest, now I'm caring for myself even more. I've been so stressed out because before we even launched, I was an exercise person. Like I would exercise all the time, every day, run, walk every day for miles. I loved it. It was all about like making sure I kept my youth and I kept my looks. I was all about taking care of myself. When I started the business and when it started like going on and it was up and down, I was so stressed out. I ate the worst things. I gained a lot of weight. I have not been taking care of myself. Now, recently, I've gone back, but now it's such a hard way of going back to that. And so I like to be that person that's like, you learn from. You don't want to get to the point where now you have to go back to taking care of yourself because when you don't take care of yourself, it will mess with your work. So I've been trying. I've taken actually a trainer, eating better, drinking green juices, drinking water, which is something I don't like to do, um, and taking moments and just praying. I need to go back to church again, like more consistently. So I'll be going back Sundays. It's self-care is paramount because if you need to use your body in your work, what body can you use if it's messed up? You know what I mean? That's the realest thing you can say. It's like if I'm heaving and hoeing, trying to walk down the block, I'm not gonna take care of people. So I've been focused on taking care of my health, and I would love to go back to traveling, but that can't happen just yet. But like I said, I'm a big traveler. So my biggest travel is whenever a patient needs me out of state. It's been a little
Yeah.
while, been a few months since I had to go out of state. But
Mhm.
I can't wait to go back to doing that. It's so much fun. I can live out of a suitcase for years. I love it. Absolutely.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
Vanessa, I can't thank you enough for this conversation. I have loved every single minute of it.
Same,
Are
same.
there, are there any last words you'd like to leave us with?
I guess it would be when you do come up with the assertion that I want to have my own business, remember that no matter in what business that you go into, success is not fast. Sometimes, most of the time, if you want longevity in any business that you do, and I've opened up two other businesses before, and now another one, it takes time. It takes patience. Like my boyfriend always says, which I can't stand, Rome was not built in a day. And it is the truest statement in business. If you could, your first year alone could be nothing. But the first 3 years, or which usually are the hardest, are when people stop and they just give up. And I can't tell you how many times I was ready to throw in the towel. And it took God, it took my family, it took my friends, it took my guy constantly telling me, relax. It takes time. It really does. It really does. So you have to be patient and you have to make sure that you have preparation, that you're with the place that you're with currently. Maybe you stay there, maybe you go part time, and then you focus on your business. Or make sure you have a grant that gives you enough cushion. Something, you need something to help you while you're growing your business because it may take a few years. So that's my thought.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. And it's really important because so many nurses are transitioning into entrepreneurship,
Yes.
whether full-time or looking for a side hustle or something like that. And the notion that it's going to be quick, just because we have the knowledge,
Yeah.
the nursing knowledge does not mean we have the business knowledge or the business contacts or the idea that, it takes time. Be patient, be consistent. It takes
Yes.
time.
Yes. Consistency. Woo. The hardest follow up. Follow up. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Follow up is
On that
everything.
note, thank you, Vanessa. And this is
Yes.
Nurses Talking.
Thank you.
Please join us again for another episode of Nurses Talking soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.